Hello, 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 everybody. As you can see, I didn't do no makeup and do none of that today. Because hey, that ain't that ain't real life. I am not made up and face beat every day. Plus, I have an event that I am going to be an expert panelist on later today. So I'm gonna save all that face beating for then. But as you see the title of this video, first let me give a shout out. Let's see if I got, if you see my shirt, you see this says Bald Head Comedy Over Depression. So this is my brother, comedian Baldhead Phillips. He has a YouTube channel and a podcast. Definitely go to his page and subscribe. Also, as I'm speaking of subscribing, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on my page as well. But again, this is Baldhead's theme, Comedy Over Depression, which basically means laughter can generally cure a lot of things and a lot of issues that we have, or I ain't gonna say it's gonna cure depression, but a lot of times, I know for me, when I was battling cancer, going to comedy shows and things like that really helped me get through a lot of the days. So what I'm gonna do, I have watched, of course, I go back and I watch my own videos. And I realize, like, when I'm going into a new word, when I close my mouth, I kind of smack. And that smacking, I'm sure if anybody's watching, it probably irritates you guys. So it definitely irritated me noticing how many times I do it. So I'm going to be working on doing that. I realize that I do it. I think when I go into a new sentence and I kind of close my mouth and I may swallow if I have any saliva or anything. Ugh, no, it sounds gross, but that is why I think I do it. But I'm going to try to control it, y'all. So pray for me, pray for me, pray for me. So anyway, I named this video Story Time. And I realized that a lot of times when I'm doing videos, I really do be kind of telling stories about experiences or experiences with other people. So this one is going to be story time on the need to compete. And in that need to compete, people recognizing that they don't need to compete and that they are enough. So I'm going to tell this little story about a relationship that, for me, it started probably, it started maybe about 16 years ago. Maybe more than that. See, there I go smacking. Maybe more than that. But, and in this relationship, I will first say this, and I will give not a disclaimer, but I'll be honest. I'm going to say that not in any relationships that I have been in have I been perfect. And I'm probably not going to be, because I'm not perfect. But what I can say is, in most relationships that I have been in, especially if I consider the people a close friend, which for me, close friends are like family. And it's because I am an only child to my mother. And a big bulk of my life in my village has been me living with other people, other family members, some who became family, and just really being embraced by people who are not biologically related to me. So my friendships they mean a lot to me. I probably take friendships a lot differently than some other people, because if they do have siblings or if they have, close cousins and things that they grew up around, for the bulk of their life, then they don't necessarily, their friendships are kind of, they're important, but just not as important if you have your first best friend at home as your sibling or something like that. So when I am in friendships, they are basically like family to me. So anyway, the storyline behind this. So I meet this person, and person and people, actually this kind of applies to a couple people, but I meet these people and I kind of come in, and a lot of times in a lot of my friendships, I have generally been the oldest or older than a lot of my friends, and I just think I don't know why that's the case. I have friends I went to school with and stuff and that I'm cool with, but as I got in my 20s and 30s and stuff, I just really I worked with young people. I don't think in my age that I was, I didn't really like to party and do different things that a lot of people my age like to do. So I liked more of the younger music, and I like younger men. So it just kind of, I think it just kind of worked out that way. But however, in that, I've kind of always, felt like, okay, well, that's just like when I'm hanging out with older people or older women. When I'm with them, I am understanding that I probably am going to learn something from them. Just because they have been living longer than me, they've probably had more life experiences than me. And depending on the area that, they work or, have a business, I'm sure that there's something. Now I'm sure there are things that I was going to learn and that I've learned from those older people. So when I am the older person around, of course, I'm going to take what I've learned from the older people I'm around, as well as through my experiences. And of course, now it's in a sense going to be passed down or shared with the people who I am around, who are younger than me, who may not have done some of the things that I've done, or some of the things that the older people that I am getting, information from have done. And so for me, I am just one of those people. If I know something, I want to share it. If I can help a person not experience something that I had to experience because I didn't know, I'm definitely going to do that. I am going to tell you. And sometimes, people say my sister is one of the main people who said that to me when I was younger. Like, that everybody don't really want all the time, like for me to try to come and help or, and give information or whatever. And I hear them and I hear that, but I'm just like, it doesn't make any sense to me, because if I can help you, and save you from experiencing, a hard time or a problem, like, why wouldn't you want me to share that with you? Because I definitely, when I have people in my life who can do the same for me, I want them to do the same for me. But, a lot of times, I don't know. I'm me. I can only be me. So I don't know if a lot of times when I'm talking about things or sharing things, if I seem a little overbearing. Now, I know when I was younger, because I used to drive my sister truthfully crazy, I was really thought I was her mama. And I kind of, always think like I'm somebody's mama. It ain't that they gotta listen. It's just my way. I am my mother's only child, and in order to do a lot of the things that I did in life, I've had to be a person who can speak up for themselves, be confident in what they're saying, and just kind of be strong. Especially because I did grow up, in a sense, in poverty, and where the people around me and the friends that I was with, their parents and their families had more money than me, more material things than I had. And so I definitely had to become a confident person so that I didn't feel less than in those type of situations, to where people had, more things, better things, nicer things, or whatever than me. So I'm strong in how I am. So anyway, so you build these relationships, and I'm being myself. And, they're not saying they got a problem with it. They're not saying, they don't like me helping. And sometimes it's helping. They think they want to start a business. I'll come up with the idea and sometimes start everything for them, just because it's starting a business and setting up everything is kind of second nature to me. I grew up under several business owners. Having a business is not something that I believe is impossible. Having a business is not something that I think takes a whole lot to get started. I do know it takes a lot of time to perfect it, but to get things started, especially in this day and age, it does not take a lot. It really just takes getting out of your own way mentally and thinking that you have all of these obstacles that are going to prevent you from, becoming successful. So anyway, in this relationship, so years go by. They're being, as far as I'm thinking, they're being, good people to me, and vice versa. Where I could help them, I'm helping them. Where areas that they could help me, they're helping me. Now, I want to say something about that, but I realize like that and y'all tell me if you in the comments when you talk, if you are that way, like you don't really have that many demands or that many things that you're asking of people when you're a helper, but you really be giving out like a whole lot more of yourself in those relationships. Now, people always say this, oh, you should measure. It's not about I'm not measuring. It's not about measuring. It's about living in the moment and in that space. If I am experiencing this situation, there is no way in the world that I'm going to be in a situation and being myself, and whatever that may be, if that's giving, doing, or whatever, I'm not going to acknowledge that I'm doing that. That's common sense. How the heck I'm going to be doing something that I don't realize I'm doing? So it's not weighing it out. It's not measuring what you do as opposed to what somebody else does. It's just realizing and recognizing that, hey, when the person calls, I'm always there. When the person want to go, somewhere, I'm always saying yes. When the person, needs somebody to be there and hard times or whatever, I'm always there. In all of those different situations. And then these people, hey, they really don't go when they don't feel like it. They don't go and experience some of the biggest milestones in your life with you. And really the only thing they really do is they are there, when you need some money or something to borrow money. So it's like, okay, but while you're in the relationship, you're not really realizing that that's the way that it is, that it's kind of imbalanced and you don't really care. So hence to the story about the need to compete and all these things. And I think that with people, as long as you are with them like this, as long as they are benefiting and can benefit from who you are and what you have to offer, the relationship kind of stays fine. As long as they're really on the receiving end more than on the giving end, a lot of times the relationship is fine and perfect. But like for me, I'm very analytical. I don't know if anybody want to watch if you're Virgo or anything, but I'm very, very analytical. And when situations happen where I have an opportunity to kind of think and evaluate a relationship or a situation, I start, kind of looking and saying, like, wow, this person really hasn't, they wowed out on me. And a lot of times, they generally have wowed out because I kind of wasn't being the same fool that I had been being, or, I started, I've always kind of been a go-getter, and that people know that, but they find as long as you go getting and sharing what you getting with them. But there came a point in my life, maybe, when was it? Maybe at about 36, 37. So maybe about 11, 12 years ago, before I moved from Chicago, where I kind of realized that, I was being used in a lot of circumstances, and I just, realized like, how can you continue to keep, I ain't nowhere near where I want to go and where I want to be at that time. So how am I giving everything that I have and sharing everything that I have with people, and I ain't where I want to be? And it's like, that's why you're not really getting there. Now, because you giving away what you got before you really get it. And it's nothing wrong, because I know that's my heart. I'm a helper. It's nothing wrong with that, but it took me some time to realize I can't fully help somebody until I am in the position to where I'm comfortable myself, comfortable with what I have, comfortable with what I'm doing, comfortable with my position in life. So then I started kind of pulling back. I stopped, first of all, giving away everything I know. I stopped giving away my money. I just, I started, realizing like, this is not smart for me. If I'm trying to, propel myself to a particular space in life. And then what happened is then I got diagnosed with cancer. And I was a parent to a 1-year-old at the time and 2 adoptive daughters who were 15 and 17. And I don't know if you know anybody who fought cancer or whatever before, but it's nothing easy about it. I had to get chemo. I had to get, radiation. I was 32 years old. So I was young. So my body, of course, was a little healthier, but it was horrible. It was a horrible experience. And while I was going through it, I realized like a lot of these people who had been calling on me and who I had been there for and all that, like they were not there. And a lot of them, when I talked to them afterwards and stuff, a lot of them felt like, oh, well, you strong, because I'm always the one everybody calling on and asking for. So it's like in their mind, and I still had to work every day because I was an entrepreneur. In their mind, because I am doing what I have to do to get through, I didn't need them to even offer their help. Or try to be there. And I just couldn't understand that, because it's like, it's no way in the world somebody who I called a close friend, a sister, a family member would be going through what I was going through in the circumstance that I was, because I was a single parent, with 3 children, that I wouldn't just, show up at their house and offer to help or offer to do something or call. And so it was really then that it was a turning point for me to start looking at my relationships and my friendships differently. And so I kept doing the exact same thing. I pushed through the grace of God. He gave me the strength to, beat the cancer, go through everything. And, I knew it gave my life a whole new definition. And I call it my life after cancer because, first of all, I'm so grateful. But I also, truly, because I'm grateful, I want to first of all share my testimony about God's grace and mercy with any and everyone. I want to try to walk in a path of being good and being better, because I'm so grateful for the extension that I have on life. But I also, it made me say, I don't have time to waste, and I definitely don't have time to waste on people who are ingenuine, people who, when the chips are down and the time is hard, that they're not there for me in the way that I have been there for them. So it didn't make me cut people off, but it made me adjust how I, treated people and how much I went out my way for people. And I didn't feel like I needed to go and tell them, well, why weren't you here? Why you didn't? Because I don't think I should have to say that. Like, just to me, it's common sense if I'm supposed to be your friend and so close like you. Like they said, based when I was the one always being the support. So anyway, as some time went by and, and things, I changed and started making better decisions for me. Then all of a sudden, everybody, these particular people want to be mad at. When I started doing better and getting things that it didn't come easy, but getting things that my hard work and my commitment and focus on achieving what I want, as opposed to focus on achieving what I want and then trying to also give and help everybody else in the process, that were not a part of my business, because my business is to help others. But in my business, I'm doing what I love to do, but then I'm also earning money in order to be able to provide for me and my child. But with these people, of course, they never want to pay you for what they think you're supposed to just give them everything for free. But they pay everybody else for things that they want, people that they don't know, but in their mind. And I really feel like, and I would love to comments, I really feel like, just me being in the service industry for so long, like people who are close to you don't want to pay you for what you do, for what you know, and for what you have or sell, because in their mind they like, she ain't finna get rich before me. She ain't gonna get rich off my money. She ain't gonna be having a better, because they already kind of looking at you. If you look, you're not thinking about like me. I don't do nothing. I ain't bought nothing. I ain't did nothing in my life thinking about what it was gonna say to somebody else. I tell people this all the time. When you grow up poor, and you, especially, like me, I was in school, parochial schools with people who weren't poor and people who had money. I told myself, like, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to do good in life. So I can feed that child who didn't have anything, who lived in this small little house. I just told myself, I'm going to work hard so that I can have the things that child would have wanted. So it was real, and that's really like my driving force. My driving force is me. My driving force for why I want to do better, why I'm working so hard, why I want to be successful in the things that I do, as well as be pleasing in the eye of God, is for me. Is to give that little young child that's still inside of me the fruit of her hard work, and her for one, being patient, her not walking around being mad at other people because they had more, and what, things like that. I was never like that. I actually had some very good friends who used to share their little hand-me-down purses and stuff with me or whatever, but I've always kind of been, outgoing. I always was an athlete. I always, was talented. So I always participated in extracurricular things. So I never was, in a sense, insecure in myself because financially we didn't have it. So it didn't create a competition in me with other people. But what I realized is, in this stories, like even in this several relationships that I'm speaking of in these stories, what I realized is I think a lot of those people felt good about me being underneath them on that financial level. And then when I became an adult and was able to kind of not control in a sense, but work hard for what I wanted and to do better, then that's when it became a competition. And I started hearing, people saying negative things about me, these people saying negative things about me, or some of them just stopped talking to me in general, just because of whatever. Some of them, we still haven't had a conversation. I've heard through the grapevine things, but all of it makes no sense, especially if it's people you've had relationships with for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. There is no simple like that, like, oh, well, she thinks she this or she thinks she that. First of all, I always say this: you think that person is that. Now, there are some people that are very pretentious. There are some people who think what they have defines them and makes them. I'm not one of them. So I definitely am not worried about that. I don't even listen to when people try to say that, because I know they're not speaking about me, because that ain't me. So if they are thinking something else, it's generally because they are insecure in themselves, and you being confident in yourself, and you working towards your purpose, working towards whatever your goals are, they tend to look at it as you are wanting to compete with them. And I think, and I say to those people who think like that and who feel like that, you need to realize that you are enough. You need to understand that there is not anybody, and if a person is walking around here living their life, doing what they're doing in their life to affect you, then that's that person's issue, and you shouldn't even give them the energy or the time or the mental time or mental power to even think about competing with them. Because I think you only want to compete with people when you don't think you are enough. When you know you are enough, your competition is yourself. Because you can look and say, I want to outdo me today. I'm not trying to outdo Lisa, Sally, Tanya, or whoever else. I am working every day to outdo me. And if I focus on the right things, if I have the right intentions, if I keep the right energy, any and everything that I strive for, I am going to attain at some point. You have to tell yourself that, because when your motives are not in the right place, it's like you'll get the things and you'll get the success, but a lot of times it doesn't generally last because your motive behind wanting to achieve it and acquire it wasn't right. It wasn't of God. And God definitely will give you little sneak previews and give you little moments of seeing what things feel like, just so you can know what it feels like. But then he will be quick to snatch it away if it's not built on a stable, strong, pure foundation. And you know how you know that? Look at the intentions of your heart. Look at why you get up and do what you do every day. Why you want to do well at your job. Why you want to do well at your business. Why you want to have a nice house. Why you want to have a nice car. Why you want to have a nice bag. Why you want to have nice clothes. What is your motive behind wanting to have these things? It ain't nothing wrong with wanting to have them, because God says we are entitled to it. But if your motive for having those things are what it says to somebody else, how it makes you look to somebody else, or if you think that's going to validate you for other people, then I guarantee you, I don't say guarantee you, but I can promise you that, first of all, it's not going to fulfill you. Having all those things, you're still going to be missing something, because you're missing something in here. And not all the material things in the world can't fill your heart and build your confidence. It can't. Because if it does, when those things are gone, so will your confidence be gone. I say it all the time. When I was talking about when I was being poor and all that stuff, I was poor, but I walked around and knew I was still enough for me and whatever it was I was trying to do. And anybody who tried to make me feel less than because I didn't have the Coach purse, I didn't have the Gucci tote, or the sports sack and Eddie Bauer and all these things that was out there. Y'all know I'm dating myself. These the 80s. These things that, girls and teenage girls had. I didn't have those things, but I didn't feel less than, because I also knew, for one, I could sing. I also knew I could play basketball. I also knew I could run track, and I was good at those things. I was smart. I got good grades. So all the things that were important to me, I had those things. And in having those things and being good at those things, they afforded me the opportunity to do better when I became an adult, so that the things of those things that I wanted, because I've always liked nice things, I just couldn't afford them at the time. And I truly believe, you get what you pay for. Some things, just have a name on it and ain't worth 2 cents. And you know it when you spend all the money on it and it still tears or chips or whatever. But when you spend a lot of money on it, a lot of times it comes with warranties and they will be replaced and things like that. So it kind of just depends on what you personally want. But you have to not think that you have to compete with somebody else. First of all, to prove who you are, to prove that you're good enough. And when you are doing that, if you are doing that, understand it's never gonna feel like enough. It's never going to be fulfilling, because how many people that have all of these things, but they still walk around miserable. They still mean. They still got a frown on their face all the time. Now that's because those things are not what it takes to make a person happy. It can enhance your happiness because it's some things that you want, but that it doesn't make you happy on the inside. And when you're not happy on the inside, no matter what you get, no matter what you buy, no matter how big your house, how big your car, how many cars, none of that stuff is going to make you get up every day and feel 100% secure and confident in yourself. And when if somebody stripped you of everything, you can still stand strong and stand firm in your faith in God and your confidence in yourself, and the fact that you know that you are striving to be a good person. When you know that you can do those 3 things, then those material things that you end up getting, they're just gonna be icing on the cake, as I always say. But it has to do with first realizing that you are enough to you. You are enough to you, and if someone else does not see that, then that's on them. But when you find yourself competing with people, trying to show people, what you have, or not help somebody or not support somebody because you don't want them to get to wherever they're trying to go before you blocking your own blessings. You're preventing yourself from receiving whatever that is that God may possibly have in store for you because you're so worried about blocking what somebody else got. That makes no sense. So, in this, the final part of this title is realizing your potential. Realizing what you are capable of once you begin to learn to love yourself 100%. No matter what experiences you went through in life, no matter what experiences you may have had in your childhood, and who told you wasn't good enough, you wasn't cute enough, you was poor, you was ugly, you was all these things. When you realize, first of all, nobody defines you but you and God's love for you, where in his eyes you are absolutely perfect. Once you get it to accepting that and realizing that and believing that in your heart and in your gut and in your spirit, you will exude that positivity, you will exude that beauty, and you will attract to you those people who see it, who don't care if it's dressed up in Gucci or if it's in Target. They don't care about that because they see you. But people can only truly see you when you see yourself. So you will realize your full potential when you see yourself. You will continue to walk into your purpose and know what that purpose is once you realize and recognize who you are on the inside, and you are striving strictly to fulfill your purpose in life and not to receive the applause and the validation of others. So I know this kind of was a story time. It's story time. It's been so I'll end the story by saying a lot of those people are not any longer in my life. Initially, did it feel like a loss because a lot of those people who had been in my life a very long time? It did. But what I can say now is I am so grateful that they are no longer in my life, because they were in my life for the wrong reasons. They never saw me, which is the reason why they left, my life. And you can't see me if you can't see yourself. You can't love me if you don't love yourself. So when I realize that and I understand that I don't want those kind of relationships, I don't want those kind of friendships, I don't want people in my life who are upset because I am striving to do better and be better for me. I don't want people in my life who think that I owe them what I know, so much so that I'm preventing myself from growing because I'm too busy trying to make sure that they are right and I don't leave them. You can't carry a bird. You can't carry yourself with one broken wing. So you definitely can't carry anybody else. So you have to take the time to heal yourself personally, get both wings flapping right, fly on your own for a little while, make sure that you're able to do what you need to do, go get the food, lead the flock, whatever you need to do first with both wings, then you can come back. And if and only if people are ready to start working and putting in the time that they need to put into for themselves, for one, to change who they are on the inside and work on who they are on the inside, as well as working to pursue and achieve whatever goals, if they have any. Because some people just don't. They are comfortable in seeing other people do well and thinking that they are just supposed to be and they meant to be in that space. And when people think like that, when people think that all the goodness and all the greatness that there is in the world that you can achieve, when they don't think that they can achieve it, you cannot force nobody to believe in themselves. You can't. You really just got to pray for them. You got to keep working to be the best you, in hopes that you're going to inspire them, in hopes that you're going to be an example for them to see different, which is a reason why I do the speakings that I do, why I do the workshops, and why I do these videos, because I don't mind. I want to share what I came from. And I'm not near where I want to be and where I plan on being, but I'm way farther than where I started. And I have a whole lot more to go, because I know that I am competing with myself to be the best me and to set up first of all, generational wealth for my daughter, my grandchildren that are here, and the more that may come, and just a comfortable peace of mind. And it will be comfortable peace of mind because this here I've been working on, and I'm working on, and I love all of this and who this is. So I know that when the generational wealth, when the full financial comfort that I desire comes, it's going to be in for the long term and for the long run, because I did it the right way, trying to treat people the right way, as well as understanding that those things and what I may acquire in the future does not make me. I make it. So thank y'all for watching my channel. I hope I kind of was story time, preaching time, all that. But you know, if you subscribed and you watch my videos, you know what to expect. As I always say, I hope that my story, I hope that me being transparent has grown someone who watches. I definitely want to hear your comments. If you experience some of the same things, if you don't agree, I'm fine with you not agreeing. I just always say, and actually one of my other videos, I didn't go back and forth with the person, but I had to make sure they understand. I don't have a problem with a person not agreeing with me. I just believe that you can disagree in a respectful way to myself, as well as anyone else who may read your comment and who agrees with me or who may not agree with me. You will not get something positive out of negative energy, out of a negative response. You can give a response that is conflicting, but it does not have to be one that is going to cause arguing, controversy, because at times you're going to have to agree to disagree. But I don't like name calling. I don't like putting down particular races, sexes, or anything like that. So I just say, if you don't agree, or if you do have some conflicting comments, make them, but just make them from a constructive perspective, so that as we read and anyone reads them, we can all grow from them, just as well as I'm hoping that you will grow from my videos and the information that I give in my videos. So definitely have a great day whenever, or evening, if you watch this video. Realize that you are enough. You are not in competition with nobody. You should not be in competition with anybody but yourself. And when you realize that you are enough, you will be on that road to realizing and achieving what your full potential is. So God bless y'all. Have a great rest of the evening. And as I always say, remain at peace and not in pieces. This has been your girl, Monique J. Go support. I got on my shirt, Ballhead Phillips. In my description, you will see I have apparel. I have positive affirmation apparel. I'm going to have some more stuff coming on. Definitely, if you are ready to kind of change the way you think so that you can change your outcome, visit my website. It will be in the description. And opt in for your free Growing to Change analysis. It will be an analysis that we will sit down and, you'll kind of figure out exactly what it is that is blocking you from achieving and doing some of the things that you want to do in life. Because this is simple. It's generally the first thing. You got to remove the first thing. Then you just kind of chop down at the layers of the things that are preventing you from achieving your personal happiness. And when you receive that personal happiness, or when you get to that personal happiness, you will realize you are enough, and you will realize your full potential. So again, God bless y'all. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.